Scott Milland, clearly the May employment report painted a pretty dire picture of the economy. What's your view?
You know, I think I have to agree. I mean, this was a disappointing report. You know, you had private sector job growth of only about 80,000. That's the second month in a row where it's really been low. Normally we'd expect probably about 100,000, maybe 150,000. So we're getting about half of what we should be getting at this time in the recovery.
Shares of Dice Holdings, however, have done fairly well this year, up around 20%. What kind of action are you seeing in terms of hiring and in terms of your listings?
Well, the story is a little bit different depending upon the sector that you're talking about. In the technology sector, it's a very tight labor market, unemployment under 4%. But we don't have the turnover there, so we don't have the voluntary departures that you normally would see. So our job postings are up year over year, but have been flat really for the last 2 to 3 months. Financial services, a different story, tougher labor, tougher market for people. Postings are down probably 18% year over year. You're seeing banks really pull back due to the uncertainty that they see in Europe and in the regulatory situation in the US. Oil and gas, though, going very strong. One of our fastest growing segments, up over 30% in Q1, and it's a great place to be.
Let's get back to the banks for a second. Is there a skill set that the banks are looking for right now?
Well, it moves around, but definitely the hot areas now, risk management, compliance, operations, technology, always very strong in the banking world.
Now let's talk about energy. So where in the country, I guess, are you seeing the most demand for energy jobs? Because you hear a lot in states like North Dakota is booming because of this fracking in the natural gas. So is it where the shales are, that's where the jobs are?
Definitely. We actually do recruiting in oil and gas worldwide. And so you're seeing actually across the globe the demand for these kinds of skills increasing substantially. Here in the US, a lot of new rigs opening up, North Dakota, Ohio, Pennsylvania, as well as what you typically see, which is down in the Gulf of Mexico, which is the strongest area.
And finally, how have social networking sites like LinkedIn and Facebook affected the way people look for jobs, and how is it affecting Dice Holdings?
Well, social networking is probably the biggest thing to hit recruiting, in the last 5 or 10 years. And so people are using it more and more. LinkedIn is the biggest beneficiary of that. They have a very large database, which recruiters love to search in. How has it impacted us? What's interesting is LinkedIn is selling to the same customers we are. And rarely is it an either or choice, so you buy Dice or you buy LinkedIn. What tends to happen is they buy both of us. They like LinkedIn's database, they like the sourcing capability, they like our targeted candidates and our targeted advertising.